Okay, so good morning, everybody, and thanks, Elaine, for coming along. Happy Friday. The sun is shining, which is great. So just to say thanks very much for coming along. And today is about Inspire mentoring. And of course, I'm sure you probably have a little bit of information already, but essentially the aim of today is just to give you a high-level overview of Inspire mentoring and what it's about and what's involved in Inspire mentoring. And my plan and my hope is that by giving you this information, you can go off then and have a think about it. And do you think it's something for you? Is this a good fit for wherever you are right now in terms of education or work or whatever it is? So it'll be quite brief as well. I don't think it'll be more than maybe 15 minutes max as well. So just to let you know in terms of today, what we're going to be covering off exactly. Like I said, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the mentoring itself, a bit of background information. I'm going to introduce you to a current mentee, Nixon, and Nixon will introduce himself and tell you about what he's up to and what he's in terms of the mentoring and what he gets out of it and how he's finding the experience. And then I'll talk to you a little bit about what happens next in terms of next stages and next steps. And rather rudely, I forgot to say who I am as well, so my apologies. My name is Elaine McGauran. I work for Innovate Communities. We're a not-for-profit based in Ballymun, and we set up this Inspire mentoring program, and I'm going to talk to you about that now in the next second. So we set up this program in September 2020, right, literally just in the middle of the pandemic. But look, we've all lived through it, so we'll just park that for now, and hopefully we're coming out the other end of it. So we operate the program in partnership with LinkedIn, and I'm sure all of you have heard of LinkedIn, and they are our key partner. And as part of the program, as part of the participation on the program, all participants, both mentors and mentees, will get a premium LinkedIn subscription, and that gives you access to LinkedIn Learning, which is like extraordinarily, just an incredible amount of courses on there as well. And other LinkedIn tools. For example, if you're maybe in your final year, or you're looking for a career, there's wonderful tools on there about securing employment and building your profile, etc. as well. So, Inspire, it's an online mentoring program for 18 to 25-year-olds. So all the mentoring happens online. And I will just preempt possibly maybe a question about can you meet in person. We strongly encourage that all the meetings do happen online. It's proven to be very, very successful. It's very time effective. You see traffic getting back to normal now, people trying to drive from work, etc., to meet people at different locations. But what has happened in the last year and what we've learned is that, well, probably in the last month or two as we've come out of COVID, is, the mentor and the mentee may meet for a cup of coffee, or they may meet in the park or whatever it is. But so yes, there is an opportunity, but the bulk of the mentoring, the meetings, they do happen online. And it's a very simple concept. You get matched with an experienced professional. In terms of then the structure of the mentoring program, it's a very formal mentoring program. And when I designed the program, I did a lot of research and I spoke to a lot of young people and mentors as well, and all the mentoring programs. I was very keen that this wasn't just sort of a chit chat and you might meet once a week and have the crack. It isn't about that. To get something out of this, it has to be formal for both for you and the mentor as well. And you'll hear from Nixon, he'll talk about his own journey, but it's about, it's up to a year-long mentoring. It's about getting to know your mentor. And then it's about looking at and seeing what are your goals, whether very simple or maybe somewhat more long-term goals. And it's about achieving those goals over the mentoring relationship. So that's what I mean when I talk about it being a formal, structured kind of a program. And it's regular meetings as well. Again, that's part of building up the relationship. For most of our mentors, that they would meet every week, every 2 weeks, but at a minimum, we would say meet every month. And again, that's, I suppose, part of working to those goals, and establishing a good relationship with your mentor as well. Just to mention as well, if anyone has any questions, just pop them in the chat box. There will be an opportunity towards the end as well. That's just to give you a bit of a flavour for Inspire mentoring. Like I said, we launched in September 20. We currently have over 100 young people being actively mentored as well. So I suppose from your perspective then, why have a mentor? You'll hear from Nixon, but I suppose from the point of view of the program, It's that you'll have a role model that will guide and support you. It's someone in your corner. It isn't a parental figure or a lecturer, or it is just an adult that will listen to you and support you. And I have there increased your self confidence. And I felt when I was designing the program that this would be a key sort of outcome or output of the program. And that is actually the case. When you sign up for the program, we ask you to complete a questionnaire to scale about self-confidence. And again, near the end of the mentoring. And we've been able to analyze that data, and over 85% of the young people have proven or self-declared and improved self-confidence, which is fantastic. And also what we've found in the last year is that the mentor, they'll challenge you, they'll challenge you maybe to think of other options, maybe to think of other routes or other things to do regarding maybe your goals or challenges, etc. And another key outcome of the program is the network and the contacts and open doors. So you'll get access to your mentor, to their network, but you'll also get access to their wider network as well, and also to all the mentor network as well. Because what happened over the years that we would have meetings with the mentors, and a mentor might say, does anybody know anybody who works in such a sector or who's contacts, etc. And that's a big thing as well. And for example, one case how it works, it's an introduction, maybe it's an email. It's like, yeah, I know somebody, there's their email, contact them, I'll let them know to expect your email. So that's huge kind of outcome of the program. And it's a very useful thing to have, is access to sort of a very professional network of people as well. So from your perspective then, what's involved? There's training. The training is about 30 to 40 minutes, mandatory. And then there's the onboarding process. And what the onboarding process is our new platform. You guys are all, I'm sure, very techie people. So look, it's quite, you go on the platform, you register, and then you build your profile. Your profile is your what you're currently doing, what you're studying, what you're looking at going forward, etc. And then you are then matched using the algorithm in the background, and then you get to select your own mentor based on the information in your profile. So, for example, if your career interest is communications, and there's a mentor the system will automatically match you, and you will then get to pick if this is someone you want to be mentored with or not. So it's a self-selection process. There's a lot of ownership with you as the mentee. You get to select your mentor, and that's a big thing as well. It's a very powerful tool. So just in terms of our mentors, like I said, we've over 100. You'll get to talk to Nixon in a moment. But in 2020, our focus was very much Dublin. So it was university-based kind of colleges in Dublin, TCU, Trinity, and it was HEAR students, higher education access rate students. And we had young people that were referred in from local youth community organisations. And what happened then as well during the course of the year was word of mouth. People were referring in their friends, for example. And that was 2020. This year, we broadened our kind of horizons in terms of we're focusing outside of Dublin and within Dublin now on the further education sector as well. So I'm thrilled really, because to me, it's about making Inspire, I suppose, broader in its appeal and making it work for a variety of young people from different backgrounds and at different stages in their journey and their development. So our mentors, we recruit our mentors on LinkedIn, which, I mean, look, LinkedIn has, I think, something like 70% of Irish working professionals are on LinkedIn. So that's how we get our mentors, and also word of mouth. A lot of our mentors, they love the program and they would then refer in their friends as well. The mentors get training. They get a 2-hour training session. And the mentors would obviously have greater experience than you as the mentee. So in terms of their kind of backgrounds, you'll see it there, huge variety really, computer, entrepreneurship, HR, financial services, etc. And I suppose for our mentors, the one thing that I might take away from when I met with them and I've completed the training with the mentors is, unequivocally, their reason for volunteering to be a mentor, and that's an emphasis, they do volunteer their time, is they have all had experience of a mentor in their life. They all understand the value of a mentor in being that safe space, that safe person, that person that has guided them and supported them. They all get that. So they can relate to the value of a mentor. And the second, I suppose, thing in terms of getting their feedback as well, when we went and we asked for their feedback as to what they were getting out of it. Again, well over 90%, the feedback in relation to their participation was the sense of fulfillment that they got out of it, giving something back to a younger person, maybe from their community or with a similar background in terms of studying, working, whatever it was. So there, just to give you a brief flavour of the mentors, and again to stress, it's entirely voluntary. They give their time to the programme and to you as a potential mentee. So this is just to give you a bit of a flavour of the mentees and what they're kind of saying in terms of what they're getting out of the programme. And it's been fantastic. It's been great feedback, and we're thrilled. But I suppose I can talk and I can talk. But at this stage, and this is a nice segue for me, I bring in Nixon, and I just swing over here to my thing, and I'm going to bring in Nixon. And Nixon will introduce yourself, and I've just asked him to come along. He's a mentee, talk a little bit about himself, and then maybe I'm going to just maybe throw a few questions at him and get him, hopefully, to give you a deeper understanding of what's involved in the program and what you may potentially get out of the program. So, hi Nixon, how are you?
Good morning, everyone else. I'm actually glad to be here to talk about the mentoring program. It's actually been a really, really beneficial experience. I suppose I'll just introduce myself first. My name is Nixon. I'm in Trinity College. I'm studying computer science, and I'm in my fourth year. I did my Leaving Cert back in 2017, and then again in 2018. I didn't get it the first time. So yeah, I hope to be doing my master's next year. And for the past couple of months, I think it's about 8 months now, I've been part of this mentoring program. And my mentor, his name is Pat. He works in a company called Workday. It's a tech company. He's actually the senior manager of tech development. So that's his role. And through a couple of months, we've developed like a strong relationship. It's been very beneficial. And he's actually become my friend. I think that's the most important aspect of the mentoring program, is for your mentor to become like your friend. So that's what Pat is to me. He's now my friend. Like, we talk on the phone. We've actually met up in Trinity one time. We've gone around. We went to the Book of Kells, actually. So yeah, that's my experience with my mentor.
And tell me then, Nixon, from your point of view then, just in terms of maybe, challenges around, was there any kind of challenges or, the first few meetings, were they a little bit uncomfortable?
I would say for the challenges, it's the same challenge you would have in any relationship, any friendship you start off with. There's that aspect of, okay, I want to see what they're like. I want to see their interests, their hobbies, just getting to know someone, being genuinely interested. So for me and Pat, our connection was actually, we're from the same place. I grew up in Portlaoise, and he was very close to Portlaoise. So just that challenge of finding a connection. Once you find a connection, it could be sports, it could be a TV program. Just like any relationship, you find a connection, and then the conversation took off from there. We talked about Portlaoise for 30 minutes the first time we called, and then we're eager to talk again. So just that, it's no different from any friendship you would have, like in school, let's say. And that's what it's meant to be, especially like when you get into college or further on in your career and you're meeting people. You want to connect to them on a deeper level. So I think that's what me and Pat have, and it's just to find that kind of spark to get that going.
Nixon, then just in terms of the relationship and what you hope to get out of it, you've been mentioned now for 8 months. Like, do you work? Is there goals? I mean, is it just your chit-chatting, or are you getting something concrete out of it in terms of you and your goals and your future?
So yeah, the program is really structured. The first few days or first few weeks we met up, we actually met up every week, the first month, and then we switched to bi-weekly. So the format is the introduction part, and then we have 2-3 weeks where we talk about what I want to get out of the program, my goals. And I partnered with him because that's the industry I want to work in. So my goals were to find out more about the industry, kind of find out where I would work, and kind of find out what I don't know. So for me as a student, although I go to like the CV clinics or I go to internship talks, it's very hard for me to really know what an industry is like if I'm not in it. And it's amazing to see someone with experience, but it's really hard to get someone with experience because their time is very precious to them. So what Pat did, basically, he kind of gave me an insight into the industry. And then over the next couple of months, he would send me things like podcasts, articles. He would go through my CV with me. He'd actually connected me with his hiring manager in his company, kind of steering me towards what the tech industry wanted. So he looked at my CV. He told me to develop necessary skills, just things like that. It was really a growth mindset that he had with our mentoring program. So over the 8 months, I've developed like skills, and that's kind of brought me to where I am today. So I actually looking for an internship as part of my final year. There's a 8 month long internship. And what Pat has done for me is he's actually allowed me to skip the first stage of interviews at his company. So that's just kind of referring to what Elaine was saying about networking and opening doors. That's an amazing opportunity that Pat has given me. And so yeah, that's what the structure looks like. You follow your goals, and it's now brought me to a place where a door has opened for me.
Dixon, that's fantastic. And there's two, for me, big takeaways from what you said. There was one, what I don't know. And I think that's so important. So that Pat is filling you in and giving you, information on what you don't know,
Yeah.
which is fair enough because you're just a young student, But the other big thing is like growth mindset, and that's fantastic as well. It's like, and that's, I suppose, for a young person tuning into this kind of session is having that growth mindset where you're willing to listen, you're willing to be challenged, you're willing to maybe to grow in certain directions. So they're two really powerful insights, Nixon. Thank you so much.
No problem.
That's great. So Nixon, if you want to just mute yourself there. So I hope that's given you all kind of a sense of what's involved. So just in terms of then what next. So look, like I said at the beginning, really today I hope is just giving you a bit of a flavour of what's involved, and then hearing from Nixon as well. But I would strongly encourage you to go off and have a think about, like Nixon said at the beginning, what you want to get out of it. What do you hope to get out of it? Can you commit to the program? Is it a good fit with you right now where you are? And maybe it isn't, and that's fine too. But it's good, I think, that you have the space, and maybe if you want to talk to your head teacher, your guidance teacher, and just make that judgment call yourself. Is joining the mentoring program now a good opportunity for me? Am I going to get something out of it? What are my goals? You don't have to have specific goals right now, but just to even be thinking that, like I've mentioned, that growth mindset, the ability to maybe think and take on new things, and and what I don't know, that's important too. What don't you know? Maybe what would you like to know more about it? An industry or a sector or a CV or mock interviews or whatever it is. I'm just naming out a few things there. So, that would, I suppose, I would strongly encourage people to do, in terms of just asking yourself and what you will get out of the program. So just, is there any kind of, I suppose, questions? I just checked the chat box there. I suppose in terms of then next steps and what's going to happen next is we are currently in the process of recruiting our mentors. Again, like I mentioned, we're our partners LinkedIn. So we're working that at the moment. The mentors, then for them, it's our mentors. We have to get a reference check. We do an interview with them, and then they also do training. So that takes time to get all that done. So how it'll work is that I will be back in touch then with the college, and you'll get an email then saying if you wish to participate, click here, and really that's what will happen then. You'll follow through, and you'll do the training, complete the questionnaire, and then sign on to the platform. That's essentially what is involved. So look, that is probably it. And I'm just checking and see, is there any questions does anybody want to unmute? If you want to, just pop a question. There's one here. Let me just have a chat. Can a mentee have more than one mentor? No. It's a simple answer. because this is about quality formal mentoring. It's about a one-to-one relationship that will develop over the course of the year. It isn't, so yeah, it isn't possible. That's to answer that question. And is there any other chats there? I think. Is anybody else there? Okay, so look, that's it. Folks, I hope I've given you a bit of an understanding of Inspire Mentoring. And I'm delighted if you're happy to participate and you feel it's something that will be of use to you going forward. There's one other question coming in here. How do I sign up again? What will happen is you'll get an email from your college and you will just follow the steps in the email. But essentially, it's sign on to our platform, registering, creating your profile, and then selecting a mentor for yourselves. The question is, does the mentor share links in their networks, or is it focused on skills development and knowledge? There really isn't, I suppose, a remit behind, what's going to happen, because each relationship is very, very unique, and every single young person has their own, I suppose, aims, or what they want to, goals, what they want to get out of the program. Yes, they will share links, but that has to happen quite organically. You're not going to meet your mentor on the first meeting and bam, because they'll say, oh yeah, I'll introduce you to so and so and so and so. It has to happen organically. It has to happen through the relationship, and working with you and identifying your goals, etc. But yes, the mentors will always be happy to share their links. And the question, is it focused on skills development and knowledge? It depends really on where the mentee is at and what they want to get out of it. But there is certainly an element for my previous mentoring relationships in the year we've been running the program. Yes, there's been a focus on skills development, knowledge, career development. A lot of the young mentees focus on career and employment, personal development in terms of self-confidence, presentation skills, etc. And then also there's for some mentors that support around education itself. Have you many mentors in the film industry? I'll be very, very honest with you. I actually currently don't. In the last intake, however, this intake we've gone an awful lot more broader. So the question is, I don't know if you have a specific, like that film industry. Do log on to the platform, build your profile, and see. What I would say though, and what's worked very well is, for example, me, for example, as a mentor, my background is in HR, and if you see me in the platform, you'll say, oh, well, this person's just HR, However, look, below that, you don't know my network and you don't know my contacts. I may know somebody in the film industry or in a very, specific industry like that. So, I suppose the advice would be to go to the platform, develop, register and build your profile, and then see what mentors there are available. You don't know, is what I'm saying. You don't know the networks. So that's, I think, all the questions. Thank you so much, everybody. It's wonderful that you've all signed on, and I hope then to hear more from you probably later on this month, and we'll get you up and we'll get you mentoring successfully. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks.